Good afternoon, Pokemon trainers, and welcome back to our coverage here at the Malmo Regional Championships. My name is Benjamin Raviotti, and I'm joined here by my lovable and huggable co-caster, Shay Burton. Shay, it's coming up to round 7. It's coming up to crunch time of today. People are solidifying their end records for today. Some people making day 2. Some people just going for that top 128. You know, how are you feeling personally as we go towards the end of the day? It's so exciting.
Yeah, this is the sort of, like, if you're doing well, if you're at that sort of 4 or 5 win mark, this is where everything starts getting very serious, right? You know, have you taken a couple losses early, in which case ties are no longer beneficial to you. You just need wins, or maybe you're like an Owen Cameron who's like, what, 501 or something like this, in which case you can afford to even take a loss. This is where everyone, you know, those post-round conversations start to get a little bit, what's the word, everyone's concentrating. They don't want to talk that much. They just want to get involved and keep playing the sort of nitty-gritty part of the tournament, as it were.
Yeah, no, for sure. People are just concentrating on the next game, you know, even though they're 501, let's say, you know, they still need that last win. They still need that last win. They need to stay concentrated. They need to stay on top of their game and secure that day 2 invite.
Yeah, and speaking of invites, I believe we are coming towards the end of our season now. So we might have a little graphic just to have a look at the season, what's been going on and what we still have left. So it doesn't even feel that long ago, the special event in London. And I have a little bit of a gripe. I was watching back some of the GLC, and if you saw the GLC bit where they had my achievements on screen, there were none. Oh, I'll tell you what, at that special event in London, I got a top 128 finish there. So there's a little bit of a finish for you. You can get that in the achievements next time. But yeah, that's where the season started, you know, at Worlds, and you see, you know, Bilbao, Lille, all these regionals, the Latin America International Championship, which was won by Tord, who we have on stream, or who we had on stream, I should say, and some interviews, you know, then going to Stuttgart, Liverpool, Oceana, Bochum, Utrecht. Right, there we are now at Malmo. 2 events left, Torino, and then the North American International Championships.
Yeah, I said crunch time for the end of the event, but it's crunch time for the end of the season. A lot more to play for, a lot of drama to unfold. People are still trying to secure those Worlds invite, even let alone day 2 for today. But, you know, let's see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, and we still got that big one left, NAIC, you know, the last internationals, which I think for a lot of people might be their sort of, what's the word I'm looking for here, their last chance, hope for their invites. We know those internationals give a whole lot of CP. Top 128 finish does give you 100, I believe, and I did top 128 the last EU. I think I wanted the one before that. That's something else I got my achievements thinking about it. So it looks like we still got that big event left to go. That's going to be the big climactic end to the season, and then it'll be Worlds after that.
Yeah, no, and as we said, preparing for round 7, we've got our 2 players at the table, getting ready for the next round. So I'm hoping to see one more big game just before we head into our last 2 rounds as well.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure who we've got idea. Hopefully get some confirmation of that. The players are currently sat and shuffling up. Let's take a little bit of prediction. What do you want to see next?
I'd love to see more Lugia. We haven't seen much of it today. We've seen a lot of Lost Box, a lot of Gardevoir. So hoping for something a little bit different. Maybe a bit of Mew, maybe a bit of Lugia.
Yeah, a bit of Lugs, a bit of Mew.
Yeah.
One thing, what's the most craziest that we haven't seen? I think that's probably it, isn't it? Let's have a look around. The players are there. Oh, it's our fan favourite game. Everyone, if you go to events, we know and love Gabe. Well, I think it's that Matthew Clark on the left there. I think it is. Look, I don't even need the names to come up on the screen. 2 terrific personalities, friends of mine as well, I'm sure yours as well. Matthew Clark isn't currently 1-0 up, I believe. That was a very quick game. You called it a bit of Mew into Arc Duraludon. Traditionally, how do you think this matchup goes?
Well, in the past times, it was usually quite a heavily favoured match for Duraludon, but now Mew has changed to this Path Judge build. I think Gabor is going to be going with that age-old strategy of Judge Path and pray. But, you know, Duraludon, no easy feat to knock out, you know, it's massive HP, so Gabor is going to have to do a lot of resource management, especially with those power tablets, those choice belts. So we'll see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, I'm just having to see. It's not just Arc Duraludon, it's Arc Duraludon. Wait, let me double check this. Yep, with the Umbreon. So we might not even see the Duraludon come out that much. You might just opt to go, you know, double Umbreon plus 1 Arceus V-Star. You know, that max Darkness attack, when it's hitting for weakness, does KO a Mew V max. It is 160, I believe. Great numbers, and obviously gives you that Dark Signal ability, allowing you to boss his orders up cards when you evolve it.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword here for Gabor against this Arceus Duraludon. The Duraludon is a mean feat to knock out, but also the Umbreon VMAX itself. You know, it's going to have that powerful attack against the Mew, accounting for the weakness. So, you know, it's going to be exciting to see how Gabor reacts to this.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because you might not expect to see the Dark package in Archer Dynamite. Sure, we've seen it get some popularity recently, but it's still not something I would expect to see at a regional championships. Look at the prize cards, double DCE, or DT I should say, and then a 2-1 line of Arceus V-Star. Could be quite troubling to get that out. And over at Gabor's side of the board, double Lost Vacuum and double Tablet. Could be quite impactful to removing his own path if he chooses to put it into play.
Those are not fantastic prizes for Matthew. I'd say it's definitely favoured in the prize game. It's definitely favoured on Gabor's side of the moment. But here we see both players start, and who's going first is quite important here.
It is.
You can definitely capitalise on going first because of how aggressive it is and the amount of damage output it has. It can definitely take those earlier knockouts on the Arceus and capitalise on a bad start.
Yeah. So the reason I'm chuckling there, guys, is because if you don't know Gabor or Matthew Clark personally, they are two characters. They like to have fun when they play the game. They're very enthusiastic. So there's going to be a lot of fun, I imagine, and a lot of enthusiasm being shown there. So we're definitely going to be in for a nice, fun game. Gabor does open up with the Battle VIP pass, getting down double Genesect by the looks of it, also doing a bit of a prize check. But I think you are correct here that if he was to eye up the prizes, I think Matthews unfortunately do not favour him.
Yeah, and Gabor's going for quite a consistent build here. He's choosing to play the 4 trekking shoes to thin through the deck early on, or maybe even late game. It definitely gives him the option to you know, grab those last-minute cards that you definitely need.
Yeah, look at the list. It sort of reminds me a bit of Pablo's list from EUIC, right? 4 Path, 4 Vacuum. I believe that's what he was on for that event, right? No copy of Psychic Gloves, which you know is perfectly fine in this matchup, but that's something that could be seen as almost a staple in Mew decks now. But here we do see 2 Genesects hit the bench. That Fusion Strike system is still a bonkers ability when you actually think about it. Like being able to draw up to a Fusion Strike Pokemon you have in play. If there's 6 Pokemon in play and you have no cards in hand, you're drawing 6 cards. And you can do that multiple times as well. 3 Genesects down, and the good thing is about playing the 4 DTE version of Mew over, let's say, the Fusion Strike version, is that you have full freedom to go 4 Genesects. As long as you've got 2 Mews in play, unless you want to do some Psychic Leap shenanigans, you can go up to 4 Genesects, giving you an unparalleled amount of draw power.
Yeah, and Gabor will definitely be trying to do that. I mean, the 4 Genesect on the board will definitely give him more outs to try and find his pieces to try and get a bit more aggressive in this matchup. He needs to try and find all of those pieces to try and get the Judge Path and a knockout, possibly even on an Arceus with an escape rope. But it's all dependent on how Matthew sets up. And we see here the double turbo attachment to Mew, drawing up to 5 again, and it's a pass.
I'm a bit worried for Gabor in the sense that he's prized 2 Lost Vacuum and he crammed away 1. So that means if he wants to put Path down, he has 1 out. And Matthew gets to start the turn with an Adventure Discovery, an amazing card in this deck, because what it allows you to do is grab your Arceus and your Umbreons and your Duraludons, but then it also means you've already got Umbreon VMAX in hand. That means it can allow you to just set up, and you can also use it late game for a boss's orders. This is fantastic, especially when you've prized 2 basic Arceus, being able to just pluck your other 2 if you want straight out of the deck and get them rolling. Adventure Discovery, I think, is such a good card, but it's only really good in Arceus decks where you do play stuff like these Umbreons where you can sort of boss and Adventure Discovery in the same turn, or when Starbirth, you know, gives you 2 cards. It's just an amazing card if you can use it efficiently.
Yeah, it's such a V-heavy deck. You know, he's not playing any single prizes. He's not playing any EXs. So Adventure Discovery is a perfect card, especially on turn 1. So you can get all those Arceuses and say Umbreons or Duraludons set up nicely.
I've been cheated. Does he go for double Arceus Umbreon or double Umbreon Arceus?
I think
it's premise for both, and he's definitely deciding right now which one to go for. Goes double Arc.
I believe double Arc would be better here, just in case, you know, if Gabor does manage to knock out the 1 Arceus, it still gives him the ability to use Starbirth next turn.
True, that is true.
So
unless Path comes down.
Yeah, we see that set up here. So
Yeah, it's definitely the sensible decision.
Yeah.
It's definitely the sensible way to go. If you're feeling really aggressive, you could go double Umbreon. But Umbreon VMAX is a thorn for Mew to deal with, especially when you've got two power tablets prized. You can't just eject it at one turn. There we see the attach and over to Gable. Let's see what he chooses to do.
Yeah.
Escape rope starting off. That's actually pretty disgusting.
Yeah, the rope is pretty good, especially in this circumstance. Getting rid of the one Arceus is at least helpful. Oh, the boss is on there as well.
Still needs a tackle. Has the power tablet as well. So this is, well, I tell you what, you were correct in going down 2 Arceus. Then if he went down for 1 now, you'd be in trouble. That's why. Oh, tail. Wait, was that? Oh, is that a 4? It's a 4.
I think that was a head. Yeah,
it's a 4.
Unfortunately for Matthew now, the only out to getting an effective Trinity Nova off here is you're going to be using something like a Raihan to try and get back that metal energy onto the Arceus.
Doesn't play Raihan though.
And he doesn't play it.
Doesn't play Raihan, which we did see in the last round. We saw Owen Karaman use the Raihan to get back into the game off the back of a KO, but Matthew opted not to play it. I can see why you would and why you wouldn't. You know, chances are Arceus don't get KO'd too often, which makes the use case for Raihan go down. But in this scenario, Raihan would be perfect for getting back into this game.
Yeah, certainly an effective just-in-case card.
Yes.
And we can see here Gable eyeing up that judge. He has Judge Path in hand ready as well.
Yeah.
You see here drawing
then
another path and a pal pad.
Guess he isn't to know. He hasn't got many path outs left. But I think if you judge path in this scenario, if you can get another DTE down, maybe even another Mew VMAX, you can just retreat between them, and that's probably perfectly fine.
Yeah, you definitely want to get yourself set up because, of course, you will be judging pathing yourself as well. Yeah, and just opt to take the knockout there, not judging, keeping the draw supporter in hand. And here we see Matthew start his turn. Not much going on in that hand.
No. Was there even an out to Arc V-Star in hand? I don't think there was. Oh, is that an Ultra Ball actually? Is the most right-hand card in the hand. There we see a manual attachment. I know there's a Duraludon VMAX in hand. There's
the Umbreon.
Yeah, you can't use the ability, just an evolve and pass. Oh boy, so now Gable does he have a way to remove this path? If not, he might be able to. He might struggle. There we see a DTE. Love that. You see power tablets. We see a judge. We see
judge.
No way to remove this path yet.
No, so we do have the. Well, he can retreat. And
switch card. Okay.
So
I think it's got 220. Yeah, 220.
Knockout on this Duraludon, and Gable's just in such a commanding position right now.
Yeah, he is. There you go. See the power pads shuffling in the boss. Only plays 2 copies of Boss's Orders now, Mew. It was a card at some point we saw as high as 4 copies in Mew VMAX decks here, but now it's gone down to 2. As you know, Judge Path is your main win con here.
And this is the power of Mew, right?
Yeah.
Even with what looks like quite an unfavourable matchup in some circumstances with the Umbreon and Duraludon, at the end of the day, the Mew is just more consistent. We see it capitalising on bad starts all the time on all the tables.
Well, here we do see the Arc V-Star come down. Was that a judge? Yeah, it was. You see the emotion of which that judge hit the playing surface here. Gable's chuckling. Gable could be in a bit of a spot above it here, though, right? I mean, the path to the peak's in play. Might not get a way to remove it. If Matthew can stabilize, get a Trinity Nova off here, maybe even leave path in play, funnily enough, and then get this Umbreon ready. It could be a bit of a swing turn. Judge here, you could decide this game right here, right now. Let's see what Matthew gets.
A big judge.
DTE. Oh no!
I see he's prizing those 2 DT did.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, you are correct.
Oh.
How was Judge treated Gable then?
So,
it's going to be another judge being fired off. We see a boss, but no way to attack currently.
Don't want to use that boss, and it's another judge.
It's almost like we're in a court of law of all these judges getting thrown around left, right, and centre. Here we go again. Right, so it is Gable's turn. In ideal world here, what would you like to see?
Well, you'd definitely like to see another Mew VMAX, maybe even in a lost vacuum to get rid of the path.
Yeah.
You want to be trying to find those power tablets and try and punish Matthew.
There's lost vacuum. That's his last lost vacuum.
Yeah, for that unfortunate turn that Matthew had last turn.
Right, yeah, so only seen Ultra Ball as well. So, playing an Ultra Ball before the lost vacuum. Okay, I guess that last card. Oh, no, there's another one. There's another one. Oh, no, he took a lost vacuum out of prizes. So there is 2 less, sorry. Okay, so 2 Mew VMAXs in play. We have a path out. I'm just watching. I remember I played Gable in EUIC, not the last one before that, the one that was in Frankfurt, and yeah, we had fun. It was a fun round. It was a lot of banter, as it were. Today we go see a Techno Blast. Opt to leave the path to the picking bit. I quite like that actually. If you can Techno Blast, turn away any start birth outs and. Oh, we do see a DTE, so we could see a Trinity Nova.
Yeah, we can see a Trinity Nova, sets up that Umbreon quite nicely, ready for next turn, but...
Tell you what would have been an amazing...
Oh, we see a manual retreat.
Wow, okay, now that is interesting. I was about to say if there's a way you could attack with the Umbreon this turn, it would have been quite nice. But it didn't support it. Opted instead, maybe wants to go for the max darkness this turn.
Yeah.
Take 3 prize cards, maybe bench an Umbreon attached to it. But then Gable's only got 2 prize cards left, right? So just Techno Blast again.
So nice,
okay.
Again,
just okay. So a relatively fast 1-0 victory there. Oh, 1-0. Game 1, I should say, victory there for Gable, and that's what the Judge Path combo doing. Arguably exactly what it wants to do, which is stop your opponent playing the game, and hopefully you can continue playing the game.
Yeah, it's a tried and tested method. Judge, Path, and Pray. It's tried and tested, as we can see here. You know, and unfortunately for Matthew, it definitely did stick, and you know, Gable was able to capitalize on the poor starts, but not only that, but also the Path and the Judges.
I didn't realise that Gable got third at London Cup, you know, top, was that 128 at EUIC 2019, and then 46th for Bochum, and look at the top there though, second, the special event in Lille, and third in Bremen. I think it just runs in the family, Pokemon TCG, you know, his sister, senior world champion. So yeah, Pokemon TCG running the family. Yes, that's 2 families you've got on stream. We got the Schultzes earlier, and now we got the Gable family there as well.
Yeah, there's something in the water for some families, of course, but yeah, it's nice to see that, you know, families can come along and be a part of the community and also find success. Brother, sister, father, mother. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's things you just love to see as well. And you have to imagine those testing must be great if you can just go downstairs or go in the same house. Well, let's do some world-class testing.
Yeah, I wish I
can get that sort. Yeah, I know. I have to get some friends around for that, unfortunately, or play against myself. But then the quality of testing ain't that good when you do that. It's me playing both. But it looks like. There's still plenty of time. That was a fast game. There's still plenty of time for a game 2 and 3. So I think this round definitely isn't over by any means. Umbreon is a massive thorn for Gable to deal with. And now Matthew will be going first. So, you know, if you can bob and weave the path, you have access to Starbirth. Starbirth almost guarantees that you get back into this game, or get into any game, I should say. And then you can develop Umbreon and get Royal. That's the sort of the downside to the 4 DTE Mew. Over a Fusion Mew, I should say, is that you are forced to always attack with a 3 prize Pokemon. There is no way around it. You can Psychic Leap on certain turns, sure, when your damage output's really low, and when your opponent can OHKO a Mew VMAX via Drapion and or Umbreon in this circumstance, there's not a lot of counterplay. Your counterplayers hope that support a heavy prize cards there. Hope your opponent can't play the game. Let's look at Gable's prizes: 2 Ultra Ball, 1 Genesect, 1 Mew VMAX, and 1 Boss. Not the greatest, not the worst.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad, but prizes on either side. We see here, things you love to see as an Arceus player, an Arceus attachment on turn 1, optimal as you like, and of course has the Adventurous Discovery in hand as well.
Wow, that's a strong turn, because Choice Belt means that your Trinity Nova will be taking prize cards, right? There's nothing Gable can do about that, apart from try and stop it from happening. Was that a 4 or 5? Well, going by that reaction, I'm guessing it's a 5.
I believe it's a 5.
What is Gable? Okay, we do see the turn 1 Forest Seal Stone, and a Judge immediately.
That hand was so good for Matthew.
That was a stacked hand. So what's that, 4 Judges being played over, like, what, 4 or 5 turns almost?
Yeah, it's a Judge off. It's a Judge off.
Judge off. Who's been a law-abiding citizen? Let's find out together.
Bit of law and order.
Yeah, bit of law and order. Let's go.
So unfortunate for Matthew. That Adventurous Discovery would have been
that would have been perfect, right? Get down double Umbreon.
Yeah, double Umbreon and
double Umbreon V-Star. Right, here we go. Duraludon VMAX research. Oh, okay. We might have to see the Forest Seal Stone pop here for a Battle VIP pass, I believe, because you can't have no Genesect down as a Mew player turn 1.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I imagine it's going to be Battle VIP pass here as well.
That'll be our people going to grab 2 Genesects, I would imagine. Start drawing some cards. You'd like to try and end the turn here with a path to the peak, I believe, because you want to try and turn off Starbirth, because Starbirth basically it's a get out of jail free card. Like, no matter whatever I want, I'm going to get, right? I can get myself an Umbreon, Adventure Discovery, DTE, get rolling, do some damage, take some prize cards as well if Trinity Nova comes out. So
Yeah.
big turn here for Gabor.
No, yeah, there's a reason why they played Judge Path, right? It's testing your opponent's consistency. It's testing if they have the outs, and if they don't, you can get really heavily punished, as we saw in the last game. But Matthew does have that research in hand, so he's going to be hoping for some really good draws from that research.
And you're seeing 2 cards off this. What have we got? Boss, DTE, I think that was. So you can attach DTE, draw one more. You can't play the boss, obviously. 1 card, is it Path? It's a cram, no items. I think it's a support. All right, big turn here. What has Matthew got? We see a Nestbar, I see an Umbreon VMAX. I don't know if I see anything else, though.
He does only play 2 Umbreon VMAX with no recovery, so researching this 1 Umbreon VMAX away won't be fantastic for him.
Yeah.
But I suppose you only need 1 for the rest of the game. It is a 3 prizer. It is pretty chunky. So
yeah, 310 HP. So that requires what? 310 is 4 mods, right?
Yeah.
4 mods, which is all your power tablets, right? Or 3 tablets and a choice belt. Not the easiest thing in the world to cook up, but it's definitely possible.
Yep.
And it looks like, I think you have to pay the research, right? You can't even attach that energy. You could try and hedge your bets, attach the energy and Trinity Charge if you miss V-Star here. Hopefully Matthew doesn't. Big research here. What are 7 cards? Come on, Matthew, show me. DTE, Choice Belt. Oh my goodness. Look at the camera. No, it's got to be a Trinity Charge, Ben. It's got to be a Trinity Charge.
Such an unfortunate whiff there.
Oh my goodness.
Looking at the hand, delivering what to do, really. And unfortunate for Matthew, not only that, but Gabor's going to be looking at that Umbreon thinking, I am taking that down next turn. If it can help me. You
guys can't see me. My head is in my hands right now. That is such an unfortunate research there. It was going to be a Trinity Charge, I managed. It's got to be, right? There's no point in doing it. I don't even know what the other attack's called. Power Edge on Arceus. And like you said, Gabor's thinking, if I can remove this Umbreon from play, I'm in a much better position. But Gabor didn't have a great hand himself, actually. He does have a cram, but you can't cram away the Choice Belt now because of that wall change. Can't cram that away. So we do see a VMAX come down. See a Choice Belt.
Choice Belt, so he does have the knockout.
Could even play the boss right now, actually.
Yeah.
It does have the knockout on the Umbreon already, actually.
Yeah, it takes out the only threat on the board, really.
Yeah, it does. Oh, no, and how quickly it can all come crumbling down. Potentially, was that path to the peak as well? Because end your turn with a path? Oh, my goodness.
Lost Vacuum as well. Such perfect draws.
Yeah.
And pops down the path to the peak, negating that Starbirth opportunity from Matthew, and taking the knockout on the only threat. Such a strong turn.
Goodness gracious.
Without really having to do much.
That last card, was that a V-Star? You'd be livid if it was, wouldn't it? But I think it was a Lost City, actually, so... I mean, that does replace Stadium, but I don't see a way to not like this. So it's hand again, Matthew. No. Yes, we've all been there. You keep looking at the hand, hoping it changes, but it's not. So Gabor is, a switching card away or a modifier and VMAX away from winning this game.
Yeah, and you imagine that Gabor will try his
there's a Feather Ball, so that finds a VMAX actually, right?
VMAX is already in his hand.
Oh, so that finds another Mew then, so you can draw some cards.
So yeah, we'll see if Gabor can punish Matthew once again for this poor setup. And he does have Chromatic in hand as well, so we could see a flip game, flip end of the game here.
Okay, well, he's loving it. Look, he can't contain his excitement. Oh my goodness. Okay, looks like we're gonna see a judge shuffle, maybe. Okay, I didn't notice anything untoward, but there's a table judge there for this exact reason. Here we see a Cram get rid of the Feather Ball.
Is it heads?
Is that a 2? I can't tell. No, is that I can't tell. I wish they wouldn't use see-through dice. We got big red ones there. Oh, you can't use them. Sorry, they're not translucent. Okay, so I'm guessing that was tails then because the deck hasn't been picked up. Yep. There we see the VMAX come down. Lost Vacuum. That's a 0-card hand now. So Fusion Strike system drawing 5 cards. We see the switch or a damage modifier. Not yet.
Optimal drawing the 5, but unfortunately not hitting what he needs. But there is the DT there, so 1 damage modifier will do it.
But do you lost vacuum your own choice belt here?
He'll lost.
Oh no, you get rid of the Forest Seal Stone. Yeah.
Or maybe even the choice belt on yeah.
Oh yeah, all that as well. That's actually infinitely better than getting rid of your own choice belt. Lol. Okay. Views right system. This is for 4 cards now, then, right?
Yep.
Oh no, 3. What?
3.
Oh, there's the power tablet.
Yeah.
And there's the game. Mew VMAX. Wasn't that Scar? Hey, it was an Ultra Ball! Of course it was. It was only a couple cards away. But that is the power of Judge Path saying you might have the outs. This might be a good matchup if you get set up. But guess what? You ain't setting up because I'm going to Judge Path you.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, consistency. It's the name of the game, right?
Yeah.
No, Gabor able to capitalize on Matthew's poor setups, but also being able to judge Path at the same time. For example, just on that first turn, being able to judge Matthew out of that adventure delivery was absolutely massive.
And that's the thing what Mew says. Mew's basically, well, if you set up, you might have this scary Umbreon on that one-shot Smith and probably 6 Omi on its own, but you ain't getting it. Here's your 4-card and turn 2. There's a path to the peaks you can't start with. Let's have some fun. And that's what Mew VMAX does, and just steals games, and that's how it's managed to keep its stranglehold on the meta. You know, when seemingly you've got Umbreons flying out there to counter you now, you've got Drapions being out there to counter you now, but it doesn't matter if you can't get to them.
No, yeah, and Mew loves to feast on these 2 Prizer decks as well. You know, having the 100%. Ability to use Techno Blast and also having the damage modifiers with Choice Belt, but also Power Tablet as well. It can really quickly run with the game. Things can really get out of hand.
It does.
And that's this game was a great example of that.
No, 100%. Like if you go first with Mew, you take a 2-prize knockout on your second turn. You then boss take another 2 prizes. Your opponent might set up on that turn. You're only 2 prizes away at that point. You're thinking, hold on a sec, how are you on 2 prizes? It's like, but it happens quick. It reminds you a bit of when it was Fusion Mew. If you get 2 prizes turn 1, it's like, oh my goodness, I just have to take 4 prizes, and I've only played 1 turn of the game, and that's how Mew, like you said, feasts on these 2 prizes. Try and bob and weave Lost Box a little bit, but if you're hitting into a multi-prize deck, Mew is deadly.
You're having a fun time. For sure, and you know, it's being that as a stage 1, going first is so advantageous. You know, without the Arceus being evolved, of course, having that they've only had 1 turn, being able to just go Power Tablet, knock out 2 prizes, and then another turn 2 prizes. Like we said, it just runs away with it like a wild horse.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there, Mike did pick Mew VMAX, and it's definitely, you can't see his behind camera cheering. He did pick Mew VMAX as what he would have played, so he would have loved to see that round pan out, as it were. And I was a Fusion boy myself for a long time, but I gave it up. Maybe it's time I take it out the binder. I have got my 3 Rainbow Rare and my 4 Full Art Genesect and 4 Full Art Mew, so maybe Gable has convinced me to get it back out of the binder. You played Mew, didn't you, actually? Go on, tell the people when you played Mew and how you did.
I wasn't shy of a Pokemon catcher myself. I just went full luck. I just played 4 Chromatic, the Pokemon catchers, the lot, and I just said, I'm just going to draw better than you. And thankfully it came on top of, for myself. But yeah, no, I had such a great time with Fusion Strike Mew. It was such a good deck, so consistent. Genesect, there's nothing really been like it that's been released in the Pokemon TCG, so it's a deck that you have to try at least once. Yeah,
and it's just when it firing all cylinders, it's just going. You have to draw so many cards. Myself at the London Open, where I got top 128, that wasn't showing on my achievements. I was playing Fusion Mew catchers as well. You know, in the Palkia meta, and you all Arceus as well. You can go to turn 1 meta, where a cheeky little catcher. It's my first turn, and I've taken 2 prize cards. And you have to deal with this meta now, because if you don't, I go up to 4, and things get absolutely incredible.
I'll just do it again.
I'll do it again.
I'll just go all day. No, but I remember Pokemon catcher. It just felt sometimes as if you were able to get the Melodious Echo out with Alyssa Sparkle sometimes, and get the heads on the catcher at the same time. It just felt unfair.
Naughty. It's naughty,
It just felt unfair. You just run away with it.
Like if your opponent got down 1 Arceus or 1 Palkia, you're like, well, that's this game over there.
You left them with a sobble.
Exactly. Go on, what do you do? Keep calling, are you? Have some fun. But now Mew has evolved, obviously, since you don't really see Fusion Mew as often now. It has evolved to this sort of 4 DTU disruption route. And it's funny how Mew was the deck that feared Path to the Peak. Yeah, everyone was playing Path to the Peak to slow down Mew, and now Mew's like, hold on, let me put the Path to the Peak down and disrupt you, as it were. It's funny how decks change over time.
Yeah, and like you say, with Mew changing over time, and that's adjusting to the meta. You know, we've seen Lost Box change, we've seen Lugia change, although the direct engines, say Comfey or Archeops or Genesect, they're so strong that players just can't ignore them. So they just adapt the deck a little bit more to try and beat the meta.
Yeah, it's funny, even with all these decks playing Drapion now, I see it in chat and comments. It's like, well, if you Drapion me, that's fine. You just get closer to my Roxanne, I'll just Path Roxanne you, and it's like, well, go on and try and get it back. You ain't going to do it.
Yeah. It's not only that, but Lost City as well.
Lost City as well, yeah.
Mew took on the Lost City for the Drapion counter. And, you know, it didn't stop people from playing Mew. A card like Drapion's so effective against Mew, but players just went, oh, okay, fine, I've got a bad matchup if they play more than one, but if they play one, I'm okay.
Yeah, and we also saw top 4 EUIC, right, via Pablo Meza. Shout out to him. So, which I did believe was playing the 4 vacuum 4 Path to the Peak. So it's definitely a good deck as we do see piloted there by Gable. And I do believe we can actually hear from Gable now as he's prepped for his winners interview.